Hello there, how you doing? Well, first of all, let me introduce my posters. This poster here I got from my friend Sky. My son's seen it. I was wondering what my son would think about it. He came in, started killing himself laughing. It's like, ha 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 ha, Daddy, Daddy, you're so funny. Ha 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 ha. Why was it so funny? Because I've got a man with a hairdryer. He thought it was a hairdryer. So I'll let him continue to think it's a hairdryer. I don't know what it is exactly, but I don't think it's a hairdryer. This poster here is a poster from our Edinburgh Festival, and I performed as Nob Stewart. Basically it's just me with a wig on. And coming at you, I've got this sticky cock here from Cunt in the Gang. There's a long story about that, all about cockgate and things like that happened in the Edinburgh Festival. It was a little bit of a scandal. I got involved in that. There's another poster as well, that one there. Billy Watson, that was my poster from the Edinburgh Festival 2009, where I'd done a show. So anyway, that's the background. What am I here to tell you about today? I'm here to talk about a guy called Peter Aziz. Peter Aziz. A friend of mine. A very good guy. A very nice guy. A wonderful guy. In fact, hold on. He's a shaman, Peter Aziz, my friend. He's a shaman, you know, a real life shaman. In other words, he's a doctor that actually cures people, as opposed to just handing out pharmaceutical drugs, being a drug dealer, you know. He actually isn't a drug dealer. He uses the natural world, plants and herbs, to heal people, whole body healing. So if somebody comes to him with a problem, he doesn't say, well, you've got cancer in your liver, let's work on your liver. He does whole body healing, and when you rejuvenate the full emotional body, then the illness disappears because you've cured the cause, the root cause, and not just dealt with the symptoms. In other words, Codex Alimentarists, or whatever they're called, don't like him very much. They'd rather all shamans got wiped off the face of the earth. That was the point of the Inquisition as well. Get rid of the, not witches, but basically all the women who knew how to have, you know, the old women's culture where they could heal people, the traditional knowledge of plants. That's why actually I'm really quite angry with women these days. I think you need to stand up and take your position back in society as the rightful leaders, and start getting in touch with the old ancient knowledge you used to carry around with you and pass on to the local community about this kind of stuff, healing and herbs and that kind of stuff. You know, it's very important. And women are sitting back and letting men destroy the world. So I'm up for a revolution on the women's side of things, right? I think all women should basically cross their legs until all war is stopped. Then we'll see how quickly the bombs stop fucking dropping, you can? So you should unite, use your power, because you've got the power, ladies, you're just no fucking using it. Anyway, men have to use it. I guess women have to become a little bit more masculine and determined in their you know, out there making things happen in the physical world, but still using their female intuition and their wisdom. And men need to get more in touch with their feminine side, and I guess that would be nurturing the planet and stopping the rape it and stopping the blow innocent people up, you know, because that's not very nurturing, is it? Because after all, everyone is somebody's son or daughter, you know, so we're all children, so let's look after the children on the planet. So anyway, we wrote this book, Shamanic Healing. Now, the reason I want to talk to him is because he's put in jail. Hi! A healer was put in jail. I find that quite amazing. Why was he put in jail? You might think he'd done something bad. Well, he didn't actually. He gave ayahuasca to people. He went to Peru basically, got trained and got lent to a tribe, and they trained him how to administer ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is a fascinating subject all in itself. Basically, there is these two plants in the Amazonian jungle. One of them is ayahuasca. It's like a DNA kind of vine. It looks like the DNA helix, and it's in a vine. And that's got something called DMT in it, dimethyltryptamine or something like that. And DMT, if it's synthesized into its just pure DMT states, becomes a powder. And if you do sniff that powder, you go to another dimension for about 7 minutes, but apparently it's incredibly crazy. I've never tried that. That's pure DMT, and DMT gets apparently made in the brain. Some people think it's made in the pineal gland, but it's not 100% proven that yet. But it is proven there's more DMT in the brain when you go into REM sleep, you know, rapid eye movement sleep. And apart from that, there's other two main instances in your life when you have an overload of DMT. The first one being when you're born, and the second one is when you die. So it obviously has some effect on our consciousness, and we make it inside our brains, and it's the most psychedelic substance known to man, pure DMT. That's why it acts so quickly, because our receptors in the brain are so ready to take this DMT. The same with psilocybin mushrooms as well. It's almost as if the brain is kind of worked together with the plants to you know, what's the word? Symbiotic. It's a symbiotic relationship between the plants and ourselves, and it's as if our brains are set up ready to take this psychedelic substances in and ingest them, you know. So there's a reason for them. There's a reason why God put ayahuasca on the planet, you know. And but in the jungle you have to mix it with this other thing, it's an MAO inhibitor. That basically, if you just took pure the ayahuasca, it would just go straight through you, there'd be no reaction. You mix it with this other thing, you boil it for fucking 14 hours and you have to pray into it, that's another thing. You have to boil it and pray into it for 14 hours. If you don't pray, it doesn't work. So that's quite strange. And then they distill it down till you get to this brown, kind of thick, liquidy stuff that doesn't taste very good, I can assure you that. And then you drink it, and the shaman has to sing all these songs that the plants apparently give the shaman, and also goddess Kali. Basically, Peter never knew Sanskrit, for instance. He's in Peru, he takes his ayahuasca and he starts singing in Sanskrit. He didn't know Sanskrit. He didn't even know it was Sanskrit until he listened to the song, studied it afterward, and discovered he was singing one of Kali's songs. So the goddess Kali chose Peter to work through. Now, what is a goddess Kali? It's actually just an idea. It's not. There's this being called Kali. It's like a representation of the source. You can't talk about the source directly, so it's got different representations. And Kali is one of them. She's the goddess destroyer. You know, she destroys old energy and creates the path and the area left for new growth. You know, so gets rid of the old and in with the new. And that's what happens actually if you take ayahuasca. It drains all your negativity into your stomach, and all the DNA, all these kind of repressed emotions that you have inside you, it kind of takes all that junk that we carry around with us into our stomach, and it can come out two ways. Yep, you can either be sick or you shit it out. Most of the time it's both. You know, so you're basically running back and forward to the toilet with a bucket in your hand. Sounds like fun to me, you know, just ready to be sick at any moment. And I've done it several times and it isn't that much fun, but you feel better after it, that's the point, you know. It's not a recreational drug. He's not giving it to these people just for a good party. There's actually a purpose, you know. And you communicate with this thing as well. This ayahuasca's got a spirit. And before you take it, you pray into it. You have to pray, like, what do you want it to bring? Like, do you want to open yourself up to more financial success, or open more love, or whatever, you know, whatever you need in your life, you just kind of pray to it, the circumstances. And the ayahuasca knows that, it hears your prayers, and then when you kind of lie down there, the ayahuasca goes to work in your DNA and it starts giving you thoughts, or get rid of all the bad energy associated with those kind of stuff, you know. It's a bit mad, There's two kinds of ayahuasca. There's red ayahuasca and black ayahuasca. Peter used to give the red stuff, and that's the stuff that most people take, and that's more visual. But he started going on to the black stuff and using the black ayahuasca because he didn't want people saying, oh, I took the red stuff and I've seen these snakes and everything, and they kind of dramatise it and make something more out of it than it actually is. With the black stuff, it's actually a more deeper meditation, and you don't really see any visions. It takes you into a deeper space, and you just kind of process the thoughts that are coming up, you know, without the visions. Some people chase the visions, but the visions are just like a byproduct of the thing working. So if you're having all these bad thoughts coming at you, you didn't really want to see snakes and tigers coming at you anyway. So the red one can be quite scary at times, I think. You know, I've never taken it. I want to take it to see the difference, But that's why Peter focuses on the black. He used to do the red, then he was doing the black, because he didn't want to sensationalise it. He knows it's healing, a sacred thing to be respected. And I've took part in his ceremonies a few times in Holland. It's legal in Holland. It's totally legal, you know, because the government knows that the religious groups stood up for it to be used as a sacrament in their ceremonies. And that is how it should be. So basically what happened was, a guy who was a heroin user and a bit of a junkie, or apparently, he went to one of these ayahuasca sessions with Peter, and then what happened was, a couple of days later he died. So there was an investigation into his death. He basically died because I think he took too much heroin or he was fucked up. They took him into hospital. The hospital gave him drugs to cure, to bring him round out of his situation. But the drugs they gave him sent him into a coma. Aye. And then he died. And then the police are after somebody's fucking balls for that one. They don't want to blame the doctors, so they kind of traced it back to him, because it says, okay, what's he done the last few days? Everyone says he was at this ayahuasca session. People started bluffing, yeah, took ayahuasca, Peter gave it to us, blah, blah, blah. And then the police said, Peter, did you give it? He says, yeah, I gave it. So he's now getting done with, he got sent to jail. Another thing, the real reason they were after him actually, you know, the real reason, well that is one of the real reasons, because they want to ban all this kind of natural remedies, that's for sure. Another reason is, he lives in a town called Buckfast, where Buckfast Abbey is, the monks that make the wine. And when he moved to that town, he really sensed a bad energy in the air, so he got some crystals, took these crystals to a spot, different spots, and placed them in the ground. That gives the earth healing, and that kind of cleared the energy up in Buckfast. And 2 days later, somebody discovered, and it was revealed, there was a huge paedophile ring in the town. As usual, politicians and the monks and everything were involved in it. Police and high-ranking officials, as they do, you know, they all partake in these fucking raping of children that's going on that nobody ever talks about. You know why? And they always say, oh, these politicians are into paedophile. Why are they doing that? Nobody takes it a stage further and asks why. Because they're doing these black magic rituals, aren't they? And they're terrorising a young, usually a virgin, I don't know if it's girl and boy probably, but that young, pure, virginal energy of a child is quite powerful. And when they put that into deep states of fear, because they don't know about sex, and all of a sudden they're getting a huge cock rammed up their arse, then basically their brain fucking can't handle it, and it splits in two, kind of thing. And that allows these demons to manifest in this dimension. They've got drawn a big hexagram on the ground there, or a fucking six-sided star or whatever, and a demon manifests inside it and gives these fucking politicians the next part of their plan, and they're all working together to fucking enslave the human race. So there's that kind of shit going down, you ken? That's why Stanley Kubrick got murdered after he made the film Eyes Wide Shut. It was a little bit too close to the truth. And he knew quite a lot about what's going on, as do most people these days, especially if they're in the know, you know. Like for instance, Alex Ferguson the other day says about TV money, football's controlled with TV money. He specifically said, you know, if you dance with the devil, you've got to pay the price. And that's, you know, dancing with these bankers. If you need fucking a career in Hollywood and you want fucking bankers to, you better toe the party line basically and not tell any of this shit. Fortunately, I didn't have a career, so I can blab away to my heart's content. So, then they became aware of Peter in the area, because they're doing black magic, he's doing white magic, and they're having these battles. There was actually one time I done a white magic ritual. You could say, I was talking to a Christian, he says all magic's the work of the demon, you know. But Peter says that magic was actually given to people as a tool to kind of stop the repression that's happened against us back in the fucking 2,000 years ago or whatever, you know. So magic is something we should use. So I took part in this ritual one time. They took a sample of my blood, a wee prick of my blood, and everybody put it in this bowl. And then we got all the tools that goddess Kali uses, like a skull, and fucking these other things, swords and knives and kind of a big whip, you know. And we all, people in the cinema had a different one of them, and we done this big chant, and we're doing this chant against David Rockefeller, and the kind of Power Elite, he's one of the main men behind it apparently, you know. And we said all the negative energy that the Codex Illuminatis, drug cartels and everything are sending out to us to keep the people sick, in this magic ritual we wanted to send it back to them, you know, just because they need to be destroyed actually, you know, we need to fucking stand up for ourselves, and that being the true warrior, it's not all peace and love, you know, you've got to fucking sometimes destroy the dark and then create a better world, and then when the dark ones get reborn, they'll be born into a better world and they'll not be so dark, something like that. So we'd done this prayer, and then 2 days later we got the newspaper, Buckingham Palace had swine flu, yes! So we're claiming a victory on that again. But anyway, they're all kind of going to get, so that's why they want to get this guy locked up. He's got too much ancient knowledge stored away inside of him. So that was part of the reason for going after him with this vendetta. It took 3 years to kind of bring it to trial, and they wouldn't even let him know what he was getting done for until like the morning of the trial, so he had no time to prepare a case. It was all total fucking bullshit how the police handled it. You talk about justice, this was anything but justice. And they had a complete stick-on for a judge who was going to put him down no matter fucking what. And it's a total fucking scandal, and the fact that this man is behind bars is ridiculous. There should be a huge public outcry, and we should, because what is it they said, you know, they go after there was a Jew in fucking Germany, and says they went after these group of people, and then once they were gone, they went after another group of people, and eventually they came after me because I kept doing nothing. Then I realised there was nobody here to help me. Well, that's the thing I think is going on with this Peter Aziz. We should all at least sign the petition. That's what I want you to do, sign the petition, because it's very important that we stand up for any of these things, especially these natural remedies and stuff like that. They're getting banned these days, because there's going to come a time we're only going to be eating Monsanto foods that are grown on big fucking plantations, and the humans will be fucking rammed into cities elsewhere, and the rest of the planet will be used for these big farms from Monsanto to fucking dumb us down to the max with their GMO foods that didn't do any good whatsoever. So we have to reclaim our natural birthright and use these tools on this planet to heal ourselves and to fucking sort the mess out. So, plus the fact I want to take my ayahuasca, and if he's in jail, I'm not going to get the opportunity. So, and again, how well I've explained all that to you, it can sound a bit fantastical, all the stuff I'm saying. I didn't proclaim to be an expert on anything I talk about. But I'm going to read you this guy's the introduction to his book, right? Because I read it last night, and I thought it was very suitable. I thought if I read this to you, it would let you understand a bit of what he's all about, and how could they put a man like this inside prison for 15 months, you know? It's a total fucking scandal, as I said. So anyway, this is the introduction to shamanic healing. Healing and initiation are truly one process. All sickness is caused by the illusions we hold, so healing can be seen as a gradual awakening to reality. But what is it that allows us to shed our illusions? It is unconditional love, as expressed by nature. Nature alone is free of conditioning. From birth we are conditioned by the human world, and all kinds of limitations are forced upon us. Agreed? Aye. Okay. When we leave the human world and return to nature, these limitations can begin to fall away, because our souls have a chance to see pure creation without anybody around to manipulate our attitudes. I guess that's why, you know, when you go into nature, it's just like the fucking city life and all that kind of shit just falls away from you, and just kind of contact it. It's like, oh, coming home, coming home. That's why I think we should build a lot of the houses these days in amongst nature, not just create these concrete jungles, but kind of almost like camouflage certain houses within nature, you know, so we're all kind of connected to it at the same time. We can still have lovely houses with computers and all the rest of it, but a bit more in touch with the natural world would be a good idea. Aye. It is then we discover a love so strong and which resonates so closely with our innermost souls that the bondage of human conditioning has no hope of holding us. It has been said in the Chaldean scrolls that the foolish man looks upon nature and sees darkness, but the wise man looks upon the face of nature and beholds the luminous countenance of the eternal. Nature is the perfect mirror of our souls. What we see in nature depends upon how willing we want to see ourselves. The purity and freshness of the energy nature gives to us cannot be found elsewhere. If you observe the abundance nature gives so freely to every creature without judgment, you are truly seeing unconditional love in action. Trees drop all their fruit, withholding nothing, and do not judge whether someone is worthy or not to receive their fruit. Likewise, the sun, the air, and all things of real value are freely available to us. Nature is truly the purest expression of our Creator. It is in her that the shaman seeks power, and to carry that power to others is to heal. Let me find that. When the glory of that love works through you, others must shed their conditioning and find beauty and strength. Love truly heals far better than any of the techniques invented by human minds. Notice how masters such as Jesus, although technically I don't think Peter believes in Jesus, because me and him have had quite a lot of conversations about this, but Jesus we take as a myth, really. The man himself didn't live. Jesus actually just means the kind of, what's the word? The anointed one is Christ. Jesus is like a king, a Messiah. So there's quite a few Jesuses around about that time, going back to Egypt actually. The whole Christian religion comes out of Egypt. If you read a book by D.M. Murdoch called Christ in Egypt, she basically says, Jesus Christ means the Messiah, kind of the king, and the anointed one means, if you read the book by, I can't remember, something to do with the Bible, Drugs in the Bible or something, by a guy called Chris Bennett, I think. Chris Bennett. He believes the anointed one is this oil getting rubbed in them, and he believes it was a cannabis-based oil, and that got rubbed through the skin, because in those days they weren't too sure how to smoke it, and they rubbed the oil in and it got absorbed into the body. So that's what Jesus Christ is. He's actually a shaman, to be frank with you, although philosophers were shamans as well. They took fucking nature's drugs, got into higher states of consciousness that they trained themselves to achieve over 7 different fucking initiations, each one trying to do something else to achieve, everyone was a test to gain certain strengths. Not everybody could make it. It was like a very select club. You had to solve a riddle to be allowed into the club, because you had to be intelligent enough to take these things and understand what they were about. Then if you could do that, then you went through the initiation process, and then your crown chakra got opened up. That's why Jesus has always got, the sun behind him, or a big glow around his head. That's the crown chakra, when he's finally achieved Christ consciousness, and the Kundalini energy has been awoken. Some Buddhists can, when they die, if their skull blows off the top of their head, because their consciousness is that powerful, they just, that does actually happen. Something like that anyway. So, it is the strength and purity of the soul shining through which causes a patient to awaken from illusion, and thus brings about healing from within. So few know what love truly is. You cannot heal with an outpouring of emotion or sentimentality. Love is measured by how much we are willing to give to a cause beyond ourselves. If we are not willing to work to help someone, how can we say then that we love? Knowing that healing comes from love is not an excuse for not studying hard. If someone you truly love is ill, wouldn't you do the best you could to give them the best possible treatment? Love is developed by applying it through work. Nobody ever grows through selfishness. When we open ourselves to the great love expressed by nature, and then let it manifest through us by giving our best, sometimes with great sacrifice, it is then that we truly grow. Learning of this type of work is not an intellectual process. In modern society, the intellect is overused at the expense of other faculties. It should be clear, however, that the mind cannot grasp as much as our deeper feelings. If you think about the way in which the sun sees only halfway around the world, whilst the effect of the moon and its control of the waters reaches the whole world at all times, you'll understand the similarity. Our lunar side, the side of our deepest feelings, grasps more than our intellectual minds. Most people have closed themselves off to the greater part of reality, which is only accessible to the feelings, and yet it is these hidden forces that control and shape our lives. It is the task of the shaman then, therefore, to open to this greater reality and use feelings to the full. To do this, you must have an interest in what you wish to feel, and the amount of interest you have for other beings depends upon the amount of love you have. So again, love is the key. and the seed of love within us grows through connectedness with nature. Then he goes on to talk about what the book is about, and he goes on to some other really great stuff. It's just, I just thought that would give you a little flavour of a guy's book, all talking about love and nature, and taking responsibility for yourself. And does that sound like a danger to society to you? Does it really? That's another thing I hate about fucking this system. First of all, it's designed to get money out of it. It's the whole justice system. That's all it's there. The courts are corporations, the solicitors are fucking working, the governments are corporations, the prison is a corporation. They're all there to make money. They're all there to fucking see their profits go up at the expense of us, because we're slaves to the fucking... we're bonded slaves when we get our birth certificate to the Corporation of the United Kingdom or whatever. And we have to kind of study and learn trust law if we want to be truly free, but we didn't get taught that in schools, do we? No. Because they're using these laws to extract money from us, but if we actually learned them back, we could fucking send them to jail instead, where they belong, okay? What was I going to say there? I was going to say something there. The thing about, why do we send people to jail? Why send them to jail, these so-called bad people? Is there not a place we can go to get them to help community back, and get some... If they're there, they must be able to do something to serve society back and to teach these people how to open up to love and stuff like that. Give them some ayahuasca when they're in fucking jail. If Peter's in jail, he should be there with 2 buckets of ayahuasca, giving them to the prisoners. Because I can assure you, after 2 months of that, they'll come back out and they'll be ready to transform the world. They'll not be fucking criminals anymore, right? Because they'll have learned their true nature as pure love. And they've got rid of all the shitty fucking toxins in their body, and their habitual patterns will have been broken down, habitual patterns of criminality and perceiving the world that way. They'll get broken down by the ayahuasca, then they'll come out and they'll be radically transformed, and people say, what happened to you? You were in jail, you've totally changed, man, you're a nice guy now. You can? He says, aye, it's okay, man, nature's where it's at, because there was a nice tree in the prison and we learned to meditate beside it every day. And then they come back out and start planting trees everywhere, and we all have a nice world. It's just, there is solutions, we're all just carrying on day after fucking day, doing the same old shit, going to the same crappy jobs we all hate. People are occupying Wall Street right now, and the media is giving it practically no attention whatsoever. But that's a severe movement that's going on there right now, because these bankers need to be fucking put in jail. So, I occupy Wall Street, but that kind of small community that's building up there on the street, they're helping and supporting each other. That's great, but we have to start doing that in their own communities. Imagine if we got together with our neighbours, step totally outside the monetary system that's created by fucking bankers out of thin air, and formed help societies where you meet your fellow man, you deal with a reality that's right around you, and then you get benefit from that. That's what nourishes your soul. Working together with fellow human beings and being human instead of these robotic fucking Christ knows what that we're all turning into, sitting in front of our computers every day. Robotic hermits. Thinking we're being social on social media. It's the least social thing in the world, isn't it? It's like hermit media. That's what it should be. So anyway, I know I've rambled on a lot. Basically, I read that last night, and I've kind of thought to myself, it's time I got my finger out here, because today's my birthday, by the way. I'm 40 years old today. 40, aye. So that's another reason. I've kind of in the past, tried to do various things with Nob Stewart and Billy Watson and this and that and How You Living, and I've decided I'm just going to focus them all on Billy's website. I'm going to talk to you, share my thoughts about the world. If you want to listen, fine. If you don't, well, that's fair enough. There's plenty of other people out there to fucking listen to and pay attention to. But I'm going to do it for me, because there's jobs, like I went around the other day trying to find jobs, like working in a bar and doing pub crawls and teaching English, but I really can't be fucked doing that because it's not what I want to do every day. Time on this planet is precious. So I'm going to set an example of doing my passion every day and following it and doing the best I can and trying to help and serve other people on the planet, and hopefully I'll not starve, Hopefully my son will still keep getting fed God knows how I'm going to make money, but the most important thing right now is for me to follow my consciousness and my conscience. Not my consciousness, my conscience. And it's been preying on my mind for quite a while. I've not been helping my friend Peter Aziz, who's in jail. I've not been doing as much as I can. I started writing a poem, which I'll try and get on the website at one point. And I was waiting for this petition to come back because it needed to get rewritten, but I think it's just about rewritten, so we're going to attach the petition to this. Please sign the petition. Please spread this video or let people become aware of this situation. Even if you're not interested in drugs or ayahuasca or shamanic work or anything, there's basically an innocent man in jail. He doesn't deserve to be there. So like Bob Dylan sang about the hurricane, even though it took about another 8 years to get Reuben Cannon out of jail, let's not fucking take more than 8 days to get Peter Aziz out of jail, because every fucking day he's in there is a fucking scandal. Because I'm dying to take some more ayahuasca again, so let's get the man out. That's not the real reason. The real reason is other people. He needs to be a free man. He's done fuck all wrong. That's the basic bottom line here, you know? Trying to help people in this world and get put in fucking jail. That's the world we're living in, ladies and gentlemen. It pisses me off immensely. Oh God, aye. So, I'll say hello to his lovely partner Sam, and good luck with the petition, Sam, and keep doing your best, and pass on my regards to Peter next time you see him. And the rest of you, go to his website if you're interested, azizshamanism.com, and you'll be able to find out lots more stuff that he does. And if you do want to take ayahuasca, next time he's out, next time he goes to Holland or whatever, get in touch with me and I'll let you know when it's happening. Because I can assure you, it does you a lot of good. Talking from experience. Alright, thanks for listening. Cheers and now. Bye bye.